About 3,000 people are expected to pack here in Court Square, as well as the streets of downtown Harrisonburg. Right now, crews are out salting the sidewalks and the roadways ahead of this storm. As you can see, the flakes just started to fall here about 45 minutes ago.
Lawmakers in Texas consider a bill that forbids doctors from revealing whether or not their patients are gun owners.
The big concern is the refreezing because there's a lot of snow here.
Students will demand answers when they host a public forum this afternoon. The defense will present their case in the trial involving Aaron Hernandez, the former football player with the NFL who's charged with murder. This is aerial video of a building on fire. The police chief of Ferguson saying at least a dozen buildings burned overnight.
Crews are still working here behind me, cleaning up the scene. Now, Sergeant Paoni also told me that they are expecting Brock's Gap Road to be closed for some time.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Brian Sheehan. We begin this afternoon with a fire in Augusta County. Within the past hour, we've confirmed 2 people have died involving this fire. This morning, Ted Cruz is polling in the single digits and trails as many as 7 other candidates. Others expected to run include former Florida Governor Jeb Bush and Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker. Later this morning, the director of the Secret Service will testify before members of the House about a security breach involving 2 agents.
Tom, right now, members of the Secret Service are here in Stanton to meet with police and collect the counterfeit money someone used at this gas station. The owners of Dino's Subway say they are on edge. On Wednesday, officers came to their store to pick up a counterfeit $50 bill and surveillance footage from the weekend. Carol Riley is the store's manager. She says 2 customers paid with $50 Sunday, both purchasing a drink and pack of cigarettes. Riley says she does not recognize the suspect and never thought something like this would happen in Stanton.
You just go into shock because it's like most of our customers, we know them by name, and to think that we just got a phony 50 from somebody, it's like, who would do that? You know, I mean, it's really shocking. And then when you start trying to figure out what time and where, and it's like, who do you trust now?
Riley says while she and her coworkers trust their customers, this incident has them on edge, and they are not going to be accepting $50 bills for the near future. In Stanton, Brian Sheehan, WHSV. I spoke with one of Faulkner's family members who tells me police performed a similar raid here a few years ago. Those charges were dropped, and this afternoon, Faulkner expects these new charges to be dropped as well. A special agent with the Rush Drug Task Force tells me officers arrested Ingdoc Faulkner after they found 81 grams of synthetic marijuana inside this gas station, which she owns. The raid was part of a nearly 3-week operation and included surveillance of the property and undercover purchases to confirm the drugs were in fact illegal. Ralph Magri, who owns Kate's Natural Products, has known Faulkner for many years. He says he believes she may have come down on hard times, which led her to this.
And I think that's a big mistake there. There are other options to get out of the situation she was in. Better advice, better decision making. Again, bad decision by basically a very good person.
The agent I spoke to says Faulkner can remain free on bail for now until her next court appearance. That date has not yet been set. In Harrisonburg, Brian Sheehan, WHSV. John and Carolyn, we will have to wait until April to find out whether or not Christopher Neal can stand trial for allegedly setting his house on fire with his family inside. This morning, his lawyer arguing Neal may be mentally unstable. A judge granted a request by his lawyer today for Neal to complete a mental health evaluation, saying while Neal understands who he is, meaning his lawyer, he does not understand and cannot appreciate the charges he is facing. This, as you may recall, back on December 11th, police charged Neal with arson. Shortly before 5 in the morning, they say he allegedly set his home on fire on purpose while some of his family members slept inside. Luckily, everyone made it out of the home safely. However, 2 dogs died in that fire. So just to recap, within the next several weeks, Christopher Neal will undergo a mental health evaluation. At that time, it will be determined whether or not he is mentally stable enough to stand trial. And that preliminary hearing is set for April 2nd. In Harrisonburg, Brian Sheehan, WHSV.